All right, I'm back again. Back again. Day trading, scalping. I did catch that short. Eventually, interview's done. I caught the short. This was a beautiful play. All these pushes up. I shorted it again, whilst on the what do you call it? Whilst doing this interview, but let's see if we can get more shorts and more trades today. Hopefully everyone is back. It was a bit quicker, this interview. It didn't take as long as I expected. I thought it would be about an hour. But I'm back. Let's redraw some of these levels. I will... Yep, that's fine. How's everyone? Hopefully we get all the viewers back again. It was annoying that I had an interview exactly at the, during streaming. But I'll stay on for a little bit longer because I think this market's got a lot to move today. It's got a lot to give, potentially. So I think there could be a lot of opportunity. We are still kind of, stuck in this little... we still haven't broken that low. I do think it's going to happen today. I think it's going to dump at some point. But basically, every time we get a pullback, I'm just shorting it. And I was doing it whilst on the interview. Had it on, had an account open on a little screen. And then every time I saw it was a bit of a pullback, I was like, jumped in. So I maybe slightly distracted, but it's fine. Now I have time. Trade Audie's back. Hello, Trade Audie. Where my boy Mystic at? Yeah, maybe he comes back, hopefully. Oh, got some sellers coming in again. Let's potentially jump in for a sell. I'm going to keep scalping this down. Stop just above here. I think this is going to dump at some point. I like that 116 at the top there. Bit of sell pressure. I mean, if we break above it again, I'll get out. Let me just set this, make it a bit better. Where is my... 1 second. Why has it done that? Sorry, YouTube's being a bit funny. Okay, YouTube for some reason scheduled a bunch of streams. It's 1 second. Let me just delete some of these. Oh, YouTube, what are you doing? Oh, let's go on there. YouTube.com. Just delete this. YouTube Studio. Come on. There's so many things happening. Yes, hide that. Don't need that. Let's see if these sellers can protect this little area. Buyers are starting to slow down, but buyers are trying to reload it. Maybe we got a bit more of a pullback potentially. Look at them, 150 coming in. Not quite ready. That's fine. That's fine. I'll jump in again a bit higher up. Oh, 200. Let me just delete some of these scheduled streams. I don't know why they scheduled them. Upcoming. So all this upcoming stuff, if you're seeing it on the channel, just ignore that. I don't know what that is. More actions, delete. Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. All right. That's been deleted. Cool. Let's see if we can add. All right. More of a pullback. Let's let these buyers push the market up, ready to potentially short. Just want to see. Look at them coming in like maniacs. I want to see the 15-minute real quick. See if there's anything. I don't actually like that on the 15-minute. This whole kind of area of sellers. I think we got a bit more of a pullback this time. It's the first pullback we've actually had some serious buy volume come in. I'm going to hold off for a bit. Look at that, 300 contracts. Yeah, I think it might rise for a little bit more potentially, and then we could short this hard. Add a few more contracts. Oh, it's not looking bad for a short now, actually. I need to take something on my cash as well. This might be worth taking on my cash. Where's my cash account? Where the hell is my cash account? Oh, there it is. Let me just have a look before I enter. Okay, I'll do it like that. That works. Still haven't entered. Just waiting. Yeah, we're below that. All right. What do I need? I need set my TP there. Okay, I've entered on my cash. First trade I've taken on my cash account today. I haven't taken it on the Ola Prime account. Thing is, I can't see the chat now because I've got this open. Come on, give me a bit of sell pressure and I can add a bit more size to it. I don't like it. We're above the 102. Come on, let's get below them. Could enter. Are those footprints? Can you do gold? Not sure if you trade gold. I don't trade gold. You can absolutely do gold, but the gold footprint isn't that great, to be honest. It's a lot harder to read gold, but you can absolutely do it. It's the easiest one to read by far is the ES. All right, if you want like ease of use, ES is by far easiest to read in terms of footprint trading. Yeah, I don't like that we're above that. Potentially getting out of my cash here. At 108 doesn't look nice. Let's see if it holds here. If it doesn't hold here, I'm going to get out. Okay, we're holding a bit, so that's fine. Might jump in now, actually, for the Ola Prime. See if there's the extension yet. All right, cool. If we get a bit more sell pressure and we start traveling down, I add another contract, and I'll just add more size as we move down. I've got to do the same with my cash. I'm managing 2 accounts and the stream and the chat. So if I'm a bit slow at certain things, I do apologize. All right, I need a bit more sell pressure to come in. It was doing it so well earlier. Oh my God, it was like the perfect freaking footprint earlier. It was just responding so nicely. Such a good market to trade on these little legs as a scalper. This was beautiful to trade. I will show also Ryan. Is it Ryan? Yeah, Ryan. I will show the gold footprint in a moment for you. Just let's let this trade play out. I haven't even set a stop, have I? Set a stop. It's the thing, managing all these accounts. Come on now, sellers. Let's get this down. Let's get some sell pressure coming in. This read just died off now. Come on. Come on. All right, my cash is finally in some half decent profit. There we go. Boom. Let me just double check. Hell yeah. All right, cool. James, yes, I can show that in a moment. Let me just essentially was all these. I was on this interview with a client, and I had the screen basically like next to it, and every time we had this pullback, I'll show you on the footprint as well. It was so nice to read this time. 1 minute, I'll show it after this trade because I kind of want to keep looking at the footprint. Oh, where's my mouse? My mouse has died. I'm going to use the pad. My mouse has died. I'm not even joking. Genuinely, my mouse has run out of battery or something. Shit, I don't even have a charger. All right. I'm going to have to use the laptop pad now to navigate round. What the hell was that? What just dropped? I'm so confused. Something just dropped, but I don't know what. I have no idea what's going on. Okay. Yeah, the mouse is completely dead. Won't move. These freaking battery-powered mouse. I mean, to be fair, it lasts like on a full charge. It lasts like 2 months or something. I haven't charged it in 2 months, so it just happened to die right now. So I'm gonna have to potentially use the pad. Once this trade's over, I'm going to quickly grab the charger because you can plug it in and use it at the same time. So I just don't have the charger here. So I'm just going to try and manage this trade manually. Well, not manually, but you know what I mean, with this laptop pad. But this laptop pad is terrible. These things. 60, 69. There's a bit of buy pressure coming in, but nothing. And we're at that point of control. Kind of dead in the middle of the range. There we go. Come on, let's break below there. Don't struggle here. Let's get that extension. Let's just pop down. If we start struggling too much, I'll cash in the money. 65 contracts, 17 with trading slide 95. Come on, I need to see effectiveness. We're not being effective as sellers right now. 100 contracts in that area and we're still not pushing down. I'm going to take the money. All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm not going anywhere. I'm literally just getting the charging cable for the mouse. All right, so I'll be gone for like 10 seconds. It's just in the other room. All right. Oh, what's this that dropped? The mic pack. All right, let's plug this in. Oh, come on, bastard. There it is. All right. Okay, actually, let me do it the other way around. Let me feed the cable around here. There we go. All right, I'm back. I have a habit of moving on its own now. There's cables here, but let's see. Hey, it works. All right. There we go. Got my mouse back. So yeah, right now the footprint is very, very clear to read. And this is how it's most of the year, the footprint's like this. The beginning of the year, it's been a bit, I don't know, it's been so choppy, the market. But the footprint usually is quite easy to read. I wouldn't say easy, but easier, and it makes more sense. Like you just saw it was calm, the market. It's not moving too quick, but it's moving enough. It wasn't like super volatile. You can clearly see, there was 102 contracts. It wasn't going any further. They started failing, got out the trade. And now you just wait for the same thing to happen, but for the buyers, right? You see a bit of buyers coming in, but they're still pushing the market up. It's not ready yet, not ready yet. And you just do the same thing over and over. And when you get like a really good leg, you pile on the positions, you know, really add, like, don't be afraid to add a bit of size if you're right. If you're wrong, you don't want to like add size early on, right? Like when you first get into the trade and it's still kind of unsure whether it's going to work out, you just want to dip your toe in. Okay, just kind of test the market. If it starts going well, then you can start adding a bit of size. All right, let's see what this says. Can you show me where you took a trade? Okay, let me show the footprint for gold because Ryan was waiting for that and he asked first. So the gold footprint. Oh, 1 second. I just saw something really. Nah. This could be a 1 minute. This could be a reversal here for the sell side, potentially. Just keeping my eye on it. Not yet. Nah, not yet. If they start failing a bit more, I would have jumped in short there, but nah, they did all right, the buyers. They're doing okay. All right, let's go to gold. So the gold footprint is just not great to trade, in my opinion. I don't know. Some people, I guess other people might like it, but for me, the numbers just aren't that big. But it essentially has the same concept. You know, you're looking for pools of failed sellers. If they fail, you're looking to buy. Pools of, failed buyers, like here, you're looking to sell. You're doing the exact same thing. You're just trying to figure out market efficiency at any given time, right? Bunch of failed sellers, a big pool of them. You're potentially looking to buy. I mean, actually, to be fair, this footprint is nice to read right now, this gold one. Again, a big pool of buyers at the top. You're looking to sell. Here, potentially, you might have looked to buy, but then they kind of took over. You would have stopped out. But then here again, you've got to take a buy. Not bad. Little pool of buyers starting to fail. Potential for a sell or get out the trade. The footprint is actually not bad on gold right now to trade, to be fair. It's actually quite clear. But a lot of the time, it's a bit meh. But the NQ footprint usually is quite nice to read. ES is the best. Like we had this earlier. Oops, shit, what am I doing? Where did I start? So, yeah, so I took a trade basically when I saw like the heavy volume come in here, had the stop at the top, and then this just shot down. And I added another contract. And then I can't remember if I got out here or if I honestly can't remember. And then I took another trade and I basically scalped it every time. Like you can see it on the footprint. It just started responding so nice to footprint. I've got it on auto, no wonder. I had it on 24. To be fair, 20 might be even better right now. Yeah, it looks actually quite nice. But you're just looking for like clusters of big volume where it fails. You know, a cluster of volume there on the buyers start failing to push it up. Sellers come back in. Boom, boom, boom. Cluster of sellers starting to fail. Get out that trade, potentially go for a buy. But then, if you get stopped out, same thing again. Cluster of sellers coming in. I didn't take a buy, but I only shorted it. Again, like this, clear as day. Bunch of clusters of buyers coming in. Failed to get the market up. Go in. Oh, that was the trade I just took a minute ago. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was the trade. You saw that live, that one. Again, look, cluster of buyers, right? Starting to fail. Potentially look for a short, Bit of a bad price. It's already moved quite a bit. Just trying to see if we get maybe a tiny bit of a push back up again, and I can jump in to have a better risk. Nah, missed it. Never mind. Bite the battery for an extra hour of energy. Do you have a video with explaining your footprint settings? Mine in TradingView looks way different. Yes, I do. I do. On my channel, there's a video titled, in fact, I can actually show you it. Give me 2 seconds. Pull up the channel. If I go to videos, it's this one here. How to set up footprint charts on TradingView, full guide and tutorial. I'll also show you all my settings. Okay. So that's the video you want to watch for that. But essentially the settings I have are, I keep it on manual and I do it in increments of 4 because it's 4 ticks to a point. And that changes depending on how volatile the market is, right? If the market's not moving much, I push this down maybe to 16, maybe to 12, maybe even to 8, right? Like if the market's not moving much, then each cluster becomes a bit bigger, right? But if the market's moving loads, like very volatile, I want to bump this up to make each cluster roughly kind of, a decent size so I can kind of see it better. And then the other setting I have is I have it as clusters, not as profile. Again, this is up to you though. I just find it harder to look at the profile. I think it's because some, like the actual numbers themselves some are obviously in black. Others are going to be, over the colors themselves. So they'll be in white. I think that messes up my eyes. I don't see it as clearly. Clusters, I can see it better. And then I have it as a delta footprint. I don't have gradient. I keep it just solid colors. And then the table at the bottom, I have the delta percent, and the cumulative delta. And that is pretty much all my settings that I have. Oh, I've still got it as, go back to cluster. There we go. Yeah, I just find the clusters easier to read. Don't know why. I think it's to do with the text. And because also the profile view, and this is one thing I don't like about TradingView's done, every candle has its own kind of range. Has a fixed range, right? So for example, this 125, that thickness, all right, is the same as, this 21. So you're not really seeing, where the, like if it was adjusted over, the last 15 minutes of price action, they actually made like the range. So the bar is longer or wider or whatever, right? Depending on the most heavy volume. So for example, this 211 here would be the widest. That would actually be better because then I could just see where's the longest kind of, bar, and I'd be like, aha, like the volume profile, right? Where you each, like the node, they're all different sized, over that whole range of wherever you selected. But since they're all individually and they're all kind of essentially the same size, but just for that bar, it's kind of pointless for me. I think they're missing the TradingView's kind of missed a trick there. I think if they were to make the profile view, as I explained, that is, over a certain period of time, and each bar has a length based on however long, that would be a hell of a lot better. Maybe that's something they'll add one day. But yeah, I feel like, I'll be honest, like TradingView's footprint is not the best footprint, right? There are much better softwares out there, much better charting solutions out there than TradingView. The only reason, like I used to use Sierra Charts. Sierra Charts is freaking amazing, right? Fantastic program. Like and the only reason I ever used Sierra Charts is because the company I used to work for on the trading floor, they use Sierra Charts as well. They had like their own templated version of it. because it's so customizable. So lots of institutions actually use like Sierra charts and things like that. But it's so difficult to use. Like to set it up is not, it's not easy. It's not beginner friendly in any way. And, you know, you can only have it, it's not cloud based as well. So you need to have it installed on whatever machine you're using. But it is like, I would say probably the best charting platform out there, Sierra Charts. If you know, if you're willing to spend months of setting it up and really customizing it, and probably even hiring a programmer who can do it for you, then fair play. Sierra Charts is probably, you know, what I would recommend for like serious trading. But the reason I switched to TradingView was it's just the simplicity of it. It's so easy. I love the fact that, honestly, this row size, being able to change the ticks per row is such a good feature, because I found you see things differently, you know. Like if I just want to see where the big volume is as a whole, I can switch this up to like, I don't know, like 32 or something, right? Or a bigger number, even bigger. Let's switch it up to like, why not? Switch it up to like 50 real quick. And I can just see straight away like where the support and resistance could be in terms of volume. I don't really use it like that, but you know, I can see a big cluster there. I can see, I don't know, I love being able to change the ticks per row. It's such a good feature. And a lot of other charting solutions, they have it adjustable, but as you zoom in, it starts like automatically changing the size, and it can just mess you up a little bit more. I love that it's fixed and you can say exactly how many ticks you want per row. And so that's like an incredible feature from TradingView. Really, really well thought out there. And I think TradingView, as time goes on, as order flow becomes like more popular among retail traders, TradingView is obviously the biggest company in terms of charting solution. I don't think there's a single charting provider out there that's anywhere near as big as TradingView. I mean, they're a public company now. They even had an IPO, right? They're huge. It's only going to get better as more people start using order flow. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, order flow will be standard. You know, every retail trader will pretty much be using footprints and stuff like that. And it will be such a standard kind of, like if a platform doesn't have it, no one will use it. You know, it'll be like using a line chart right now, you know, for most traders. Like no one uses a line graph, right? Everyone uses, you know, either candles or whatever. And I think TradingView will become the best order flow platform as time goes on. I think they're only going to make it better. They're going to keep adding features. They're just sleek. They're very well thought out and sleek. And this is like their first entry into it. So it's a bit rough around the edges. Of course, there could be so much more improvement to it. But give them a couple of years, I think TradingView is going to freaking smash the order flow game. So I'm kind of betting on TradingView being the biggest one. So I'm kind of getting used to it. And yeah, made my switch already. Because I get a lot of comments on my videos, and there are people saying, because people love to shit on TradingView in the order flow community, which I get as well. I understand why they do it. TradingView is like a Tesla. That's what it is, right? And the order flow community is very much, you know, old school. Like you have these old kind of software, you know, these old programs that are a bit rigid, like Sierra charts. Not rigid, but like just you could, I don't know, they're not sleek, you know, very capable, very, very capable, but just not refined, you know. They don't feel sleek. You know, they're like muscle cars, big V8 engines, whatever, you know. And then you got this electric Tesla that comes along, and people, it's not a real car. It's like, I get it, like 100% get it. TradingView is the Tesla of the order flow community. Like people, it's not a real platform. It's not real order flow. But at the end of the day, if you had to make a bet on the future, you know, you're going to have to bet on electric vehicles, for example, right? Because most likely in the future, that's going to become the norm. So you have to adapt at some point. And that's kind of the way I see it with TradingView. They are the Tesla of the trading world at this moment, of the order flow world. Well, the market's really kind of died off a bit, which is sort of going sideways. Let me make this a bit bigger. I can see this a bit clearer. So I've taken one trade on my cash account. I'd love to show my cash account, but I can't due to contractual agreements. I'm not allowed to show any. I'm not even allowed to mention, because obviously I work for Ola Prime, which is a prop firm, but also a brokerage now, Ola Prime Markets. So I can't talk about any other prop firm, any other broker. And my cash account's obviously with a separate broker, because I've been with them for so long. You know, there's a lot of trust there as well. Not that I wouldn't want to trade with Ola Prime Markets, but they don't have a futures market anyway. My broker's a futures broker. We don't offer futures on the brokerage side anyway, but you know what I mean. So I'll get into trouble if I show anything, but I would love to show my cash account one day. Maybe I can. I wonder if I can somehow blur out. If I can blur out the broker name, I could probably show you my cash. I wouldn't know how to do that. Not on the live though. No, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'll figure it out. Maybe for the next stream, I'll figure out how I can also show the cash account, and you'll see how I trade differently on the cash versus a prop account. I'm definitely more risky on the prop account than I am with a cash account. Not entirely sure why. Well, I get a lot less with the prop account. Like I don't know if I can mention what commissions I get and stuff, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But it's not normal, you know, like most, like Ola Prime offers, you know, like 95% profit split and stuff like that. I don't get that. But then I don't have the restrictions of, you know, the drawdown restrictions. So I get a lot less percentage wise, like a lot less percentage wise. So it's not as profitable to trade as my cash has a bigger balance, and I can also, you know, use bigger size. And I keep 100% obviously on my cash account. There's no, you know, splitting it or anything like that. And also, I don't know, because it's real, like you know, it's like my money. I'm a lot more cautious with it as well. So what I think I figured out a system. I was thinking about this the other day, and I think the system I have now is like psychologically what I do, and I think this actually helps as well. If anyone wants to copy this strategy, so to speak, this little trick that I do, having like a prop account and your own capital cash account is actually quite good, because you don't really trade both of them at the same time. Like rarely, sometimes I do, but like you pick and choose, you know, on your own cash, you generally pick like the best trades, the ones you're really confident or much more confident about, you're more likely to do, right? Because it's your own money. So to kind of scratch the itch of wanting to trade, because we are, let's be honest, addicted to trading, right? I'll hold my hands up. I'm addicted to trading, right? I like being in the market. I like trading. I like being in an open position, just staring at a chart and waiting for a position. I hate doing that. But so I notice I use like prop money to be a lot more, to kind of satisfy almost the addiction a little bit. And then use the cash account because then I don't feel like I have to trade. You know, if I miss a trade on a cash, it's not that big of a deal because I still caught it on the prop account. Does that make sense? So I'm much more kind of, yeah, like a burner phone, as Tangent said. Yeah, it's a weird psychological, and I'm not sure why it works, but psychologically for me, it works. Like I don't know, it's weird. But however you get around those kind of psychological issues as a trader, whatever works for you is good. Some people are just so disciplined, they can just stare at a chart and not do anything. Whereas if I see something I kind of like, it's not great, it's not like, it's kind of a half decent setup, I'll take it on the prop account. Don't care. If I get stopped out, who gives a shit? All right, I'll take it anyway. But if I see something really good, yeah, then I'll take it on the, like, because you do get those really top tier setups every single day. There'll at least be one or two really nice setups, you know, and you want to catch those on your best account, you know, on your biggest account, on the one that pays you the most. You want to catch them. And then the ones where you know, they could work out quite good, you might make a little bit of money, you might get stopped out, but they're kind of just a bit meh. Yeah, you could take that on the prop account. And then you don't, you know, you kind of filter out the A+ setups to the, you know, shittier setups, depending on the account. Will there be an account giveaway from Ola Prime? In this stream, no, but you know what? I can get something sorted out. Yeah, I can, you know, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll talk to the team. We'll do some kind of giveaway in the stream, either tomorrow or maybe next week. It depends how, I don't know, how quick it takes. But yeah, I can definitely get something sorted out. A journey. We can do like a account giveaway, stuff like that. Absolutely. Mythic Trader, you're back. Good to see you. Yo, bro, what's up? I'm still in the buying trade. You're still holding it, man. Fair play to you. Where did you get in? You got in at like, I can't remember the price point. It was on the last stream. You got in at like 9 something, didn't you? 9.1? 25,591, I think it was. You got in here somewhere. Yeah, so you're still, yeah, fair play. 25,568. 568. Got you. 5.6. Oh, did you re-enter again? Oh, is your stop loss? Aha. Okay. 568 is your stop loss. Right, so that's your stop, and you got in at 25,588. 588, so about there. Nice. And where are you targeting? What's your take profit? Glad I found this channel. Great work, Sammy. Thank you, Minsky. Thank you. 25,803. 80. Where the hell's 8? Oh God, right above. Oh man. 25,803. So basically right at the top. Okay, I mean hey, if that works out, that's a killer trade, man. That's a killer trade. See, I'm looking for my really strong next cash account short will be here. That's where I want to short next. Like my next really good, yeah, I'll be very confident trade will be this. And then, you know, I mean, with my TP, I play it by ear. You know, if I see something I don't like, I'll probably get out. But that would be my next, like, big trade. It's my 1 to 11 risk reward trade. Yeah, man. I mean, if that works out, like I said, that will be one hell of a trade, man. One hell of a trade. Oh, and I forgot to mention, everyone kept asking about Discord. Can you create a Discord? So I've kind of got one made, but it's in the Ola Prime server, right? So let me, 1 second. wonder if I can I log into Discord? I don't know if I can remember my password. Give me 2 seconds while I do this. Here it is, Discord login. Come on. One second, guys. Sorry about this. What is going on? Ah, I see what's going on. I see what's happening. I'm hoping I've got my password saved, because I honestly, I can't remember. Oh, fuck's sake. I can't remember. Oh, login with QR code. Oh, that's better. All right, let me just do that. 1 second. Login. Boom. All right, I'm in. So, let me just go. I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay. So, let me just go back to this. This is so this is the Ola Prime Discord itself, but now they've added a channel. Boom, right here. This will be like kind of my Discord, if that makes sense. So for the ones who wanted the Discord, wanted me on Discord, this is yeah. This is basically what's been set up. So I'll be quite heavily active now in that. I guess it's called a channel. I honestly don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean. The server's Ola Prime. So, and if you want to join the Ola Prime Discord, there's if you go on olaprime.com, there is a Discord button somewhere. Where the hell is it? Ah, there it is. Join Discord. You got it there. All right, at the bottom. So you can join the Discord, and then we can chat in that little server. Yeah, the price action is rubbish. I am in profit today. I'm still looking for potential. Didn't see that. Well, look at that. Look at that again. The footprint is beautiful right now. Beautiful little cluster of buyers. Trade below them again. Short. If we kind of go up a bit, we could potentially, and start rejecting, we could potentially get a nice little short in again. Another short. But the real big move for me, the one I kind of really hope is going to happen, is up here, man. 25,730-ish, around there. I think that's going to be, you know, if we get there, it's gonna really, we're gonna have a great reaction down. That's in my opinion. Like, I almost want it to go up a bit more now, because we're just kind of, let's be honest, ranging for the most part right now. I'm still very, bearish on the day, 100%. But I want it to kind of just spike up into here, and then we get a nice sell-off. That would be ideal. Don't know if it's going to happen, though, today. We might just, consolidate here and then break out, and then the next leg happens. That could happen. But it could be something that happens tomorrow. NFP, I've seen it many times. We might be trading wherever, and then the numbers come out, and it just spikes instantly up, and then crashes down or something like that. But obviously, I'm not going to be trading the news, right? I'm not going to trade NFP itself. That will be silly to do. But yeah, this is the footprint. The market's now starting to respond more how it typically does for 90% of the year. For the first few days of this week, of 2026, the market was rubbish in the way it responded, right? Like, the footprint just wasn't nice. And now it's starting to, This is the typical footprint that you want to see. These kind of, trap buyers, we trade below them, aggression comes in, boom, 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 down it goes. And then the same thing happens on the bottom side. Sellers get trapped, buy aggression comes in, boom, 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 we go up. We get these really nice, clear kind of moves you can just catch, and you can just scalp your way, boom, 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 and it's lovely. Have you ever tried tick timeframes to help? Yeah, I've looked at, I think someone earlier in the last session, they were saying, look at the 15-second, and it looks okay. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think you can go into the second charts, like 15, 10, 5. I don't know about 1 second. 1 second might be a bit ridiculous. All right, let's have a look. Why not? Holy crap. All right, 1 minute. I'm going to put this on auto. This is the 1 second foot. Oh my God. Yeah, this is just mental. See, the problem is TradingView doesn't know how to gets their orders in kind of clumps, in lumps, and then they spread it out over. So it's not, the 1 second is not accurate representation of the actual distribution of orders, really. But yeah, I can trade this. This is insane. Yeah, I could not trade this. This is mental. Maybe 5 seconds. 5 seconds is a little bit better. Yeah, 5 seconds is looking a bit more like a bit of a better kind of chart. But I tell you what, there was one time, if you guys remember back in like April last year, where the whole tariff thing happened, right? It was first announced and the market dumped. Like we lost 20% in like a few days or whatever it was, right? A huge sell-off, right? I remember we were again live on Ola Prime TV, and I remember going into the 1 second time frame on the footprint, and literally, I kid you not, on the 1 second time frame, like on one single price level, you would see like 1,000 contracts, sold contracts, another 1,000, another 1,000. And I've never seen volume like that before. Never in my life have I seen that amount of volume. It was just insanity. But you got to remember, we dropped hundreds of points in like a minute. It was just, it was so crazy. But the 15-second, yeah, you could actually trade the 15-second footprint, to be fair. It's tradable. Yeah, it's tough. I wouldn't personally. I think I would struggle a bit because it does. The speed is a lot more. But then again, I guess, like you saw 39. Let's see if those 39 are able to push it down. If they start failing and jump in for a buy quickly. Bit of aggression. You got to have your stop right at the bottom here. So you instantly have jumped in here with a stop. And then you got to have like such quick take profits, right? You're going to have like a really quick take, boom, you're out. Like you can trade it, but my God, you're going to get slippage. Yeah, it's tough. 15 seconds, it would be tough to trade. But if you've got really like quick internet, really fast execution speeds, and I don't know, you had like a strong coffee or something, you could probably do it, to be fair. You could probably do it. The 5 minute is good as well. I mean, don't knock also like higher time frames are actually decent as well for the footprint. Sometimes you see a lot more clarity in higher time frames as well. Oops, what have I done? Why all prop firms are closing Project X? We still have Project X as Ola Prime, but we are starting to offer other platforms now as well. Project X, look, don't get me wrong, great platform. It's decent in terms of like it's very easy to use. Obviously, it's not complete. I wouldn't say it's like a complete platform. You know, if it had like order flow and stuff, you know, that'll make it better. But it's basically TradingView, simplified TradingView inbuilt into it. It's a good, but overall, it's a good platform. I think it's like easy to use. Like adding your stop loss, you just drag it, take profit, you drag it. It's like quite simplified, right? It's for an execution, it's decent to trade on. You know, easy to execute and manage your trade. But it does have its problems, Project X. You know, there's been outages recently. There's been bugs. A lot of, you know, traders complain about it because of that, and that's, you know, ultimately unacceptable as well. You know, if you're gonna have a platform, you need to make sure it's rigid enough to, you know, not have bugs and stop working, and because it's not fair on the traders, right? So I think that's why a lot of prop firms are still offering it, but kind of, you know, looking for backup solutions as well, other platforms. I mean, we're doing the same as well. We're looking at offering, I'm sure I could probably mention it, but we're going to be offering DX Futures soon as another platform on the future side. Obviously for CFDs, we got, you know, all the typical ones, MT4, MT5, match trader, all that stuff. We have all that. But in the future side, we only got a Rhythmic feed, so you can use your own, you know, order flow platform with the Rhythmic feed, or you can use Project X. But we're going to offer more coming now as well, just to give you a bit more, you know. Mythic, you have a lot of experience. I can't hold a trade all day to break even. My psyche can't handle that. Yeah, I agree with that. But look, that's why, you know, there's no single way that's better. Like for me, swing trading, I'm like you, Trade Audi. I can't do swing trading. I don't like it. There's something in me. I hate leaving a trade. Do you know what I mean? Like setting it, even if I got my stop set and my take profit, all that is all well and good. Got all that set. I hate walking away from it. I like to have the trade open so I can actually see what is happening in real time and, you know, manage the trade. And I've actually got a video I'm planning on making for the channel that's going to show how trade management, because ultimately, and this is true, right? Trade management is more important than entries. I can promise you that as a trader. Like your entry, don't get me wrong, is important, right? You obviously want a good entry. But how you manage the trade, say right now you flip a coin, heads you go long, tails you go short. You have to make a decision. Like we can do this on, let's do this on a micro, right? Because I don't want to do it on a mini. Let me switch this to MNQ as well. Where is it? MNQ, here we go. All right. So we're going to do this with one micro. What I'm going to do is we're going to flip a coin. Let me get like a coin. I don't have a coin on me. Let me type in coin flip to Google, maybe that, or google.com. Come on. Coin flip. All right. What we're going to do is in the next 2 minutes, so in 2 minutes time, I'm going to enter either buy or sell. All right. Heads, I'll buy. Tails, I'll sell. And I'll manage to trade, you know. So let's flip. All right. I'm going to have to sell, which is actually, I'm quite happy about that. But okay. I'll sell in 2 minutes. So we're at 35, 36, at the 37 candle. My time, 5:37. So in the next candle, I will hit sell. Just going to double check it's MNQ. Yep, it's MNQ. We'll do one micro. And you got to just manage the trade. You know, I'm not even going to look at the screen. I'm not even going to look so I can prepare. and you just have to kind of manage it in real time. And what another rule we'll add is I'm allowed to add to the position if I believe it's good. And obviously I can exit whenever the hell I want, right? So if I believe the position's good, I can add to it. If I believe it's bad, I'll exit. And we'll try and, all right, we've got 20 seconds still. And then I'll be shorting it just from a coin flip, and we'll see what happens. See if we can, make a profit just based on pure, chance. All right, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm in short. All right, let's have a look. What do we see? I haven't got any of my levels on MNQ, annoyingly, but let me just add some levels. Okay, we got all right, we're in a range. We're near the top of the range, which is good for a short. Just going to add a bit of a volume profile. See if there's any gaps, anything nearby. Point of control is further down. There's a lot of sell pressure coming in. Buyers are here. If we get below there, I might be happy to potentially hold it or add a position. But as of yet, there's no kind of reason I should get out of this short. There is a bit of a build-up in terms of sellers and struggling to get it down, but that's a lot of these buyers just kind of defending. Realistically, if buyers come in and start getting effective, I will get out the trade. But if sellers are able to break below this 114, this cluster of buyers here, I think I'll add another position and we'll keep this trade going until whenever I believe it's time to get out. But as of yet, it's not terrible. If you make a big win on a coin flip, can you imagine? It's only a micro, so I mean, like, even if I set my stop loss like far away, it's not gonna. Oh, we're getting there. All right, let's see. Bit of buyers coming in trying to defend it. We're starting to get below now. I just want to see this number go red, a bit bigger, and I'll add another position. I just want to see a little bit more of a follow through. We still haven't had that yet. Got a bit of aggression, but the buyers are still trying to absorb those sellers and protect. They're trying to protect this area here, which makes sense. I want to see a bit more. Still buyers trying to protect it. I just want to see them give up a little bit, and then I'll add another position. Come on. All right, that's looking a bit better. Let's get there. Let's get there. Come on. Just buyers are still trying to fight it. Hopefully they give up any second. 12 contracts, 13 now. They're still fighting it. Sellers instantly push them back down. Sellers are not having it. We're kind of wedged again. Small little range. We're kind of wedged between these two areas. But I would love to be able to add another position and kind of, follow this trade down. But, see, this is now starting to look a little bit worse. We've got sellers at the bottom here. Failed to push it down. Buyers coming in. This might be a kind of, maybe get out. But it's not terrible yet. We have to wait. We're just at the top of the range. Let's see if the sellers can take over control again. If they can take over control and this time, follow through and actually push this down, it's still in play. Oh yeah, your barber did you well. Yeah, he did all right, didn't he? Worked quite well. Dennis, when you make 3K, can you show that trade? Yes, I will show it in a moment. All right. We're still on the coin flip trade. Oh, look at this. All right, buyers coming in. Let's see how effective they are. 29. We're still in this range, obviously. It's not the end of the world. 14. Now you see buyers starting to potentially break out. Let's see if it's just a false breakout with a quick, liquidity grab, and then otherwise I got to flatten and this trade didn't work out. 130. You see how they're just stuck right now? So they're fighting some kind of iceberg. And I think we'll give it another few seconds, see if the sellers can just about maybe take it. And the sellers do it. They're fighting it. They're really holding on. Nah, the buyers took it out, and then you would exit that trade. So we'll do another coin flip this time, and this might not be bad potentially for. Nah, the buyer's got it. Check my levels on ES, NQ, GC, BTC, CL. Dude, don't come on, man. Don't promote your stream on my stream. All right. We can't have spam here. Like, if you're just going to promote other people's stuff on my stream, obviously, I'll let it slide this time. But if you keep promoting stuff, I'm going to have to, mute you. All right. This interesting, the footprint. Thanks for explaining. You're welcome. Hey, Sammy, how did you start working for Ola Prime? Essentially, before Ola Prime was Ola Prime. So when Ola Prime was just, we were basically just a trading floor, a trading company, right? We had our own capital. It was started by an ex-investment banker. You can read the whole story on the website. And, he started it as just a bunch of traders basically trading their own capital, the company's capital. And then we opened it up as a prop firm. And then obviously we were called Ola Prime. The name Ola Prime is new. You know what I mean? That's for, but the people behind it, like we've been trading. And I started out as a trader with them. And when we started the prop trading side of it, so Ola Prime, I got a promotion to run the UK side of things. And that's how I essentially started with Ola Prime. So, how do you overcome the itchy hands every time I'm on profit? I get scared, and at the end of closing early on a small pullback and then watch my position hit TP. Great question, man. Great question. See, this would be a good sell potentially. Yeah, I'll go in for a sell. Oh, I'm on freaking micros, haven't I? Forgot to switch it back. It's fine, who cares? But how do you overcome the itchy hands every time I'm on profit? I get scared and end up closing early on a small pullback and then watch my position hit TP. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. It's a really tough one because I have the same problem as well. A lot of the time, let me just manage this trade real quick. I'll put it there. That should do. No, it's not ready yet. Not ready. Sellers got trapped potentially. But I also saw buyers trapped, so. And then the buyers just came in again. Fair play. Probably a good thing I was on a micro. Yeah, as you were saying, I don't know how to overcome it. I mean, what I do is I have multiple accounts. I have 2 accounts, one prop account, one cash account. I play around more on the prop account, and then on the cash account, I kind of take the more, the really good trades. The ones where it's just a bit better, like the next cash account trade I want to take. Let me just switch over to NQ. Like the next cash account trade I want to take. Just move this. Would be a short position, I explained this earlier, but in case you weren't here, this is the next cash account trade I want to take. Like, I don't want to take anything else other than a short at this level here on the NQ, right? For like my cash account. But with the prop account, if I see something that's like, yeah, it could work out, I'll just take it. And that kind of fills the degenerate in me where I want to kind of, have action, have a bit of excitement. And then, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense in Racing Coalition. Like, the prop account I use to kind of be a bit more risky with, and then the cash account I'm a lot more kind of stable. But it's a hell of a lot boring. Like, the cash account, just trading a cash account would be boring because I would only wait for the best setups. I wait for like proper areas that I'm I feel have a much higher probability. But you can wait then sometimes hours, and you'll be sitting there. Like, especially in this last however long, it's been a bit boring, right? How do you deal with? I can't see the Sammy channel on Discord. It should be on the side, on the left-hand side on Discord. So if you go, obviously, if you join the Ola Prime Discord itself, and then on the left-hand side, we have under Ola Prime Community. It's just been set up now. It's there. All right. How do you deal with after taking profit on a trade and then it keeps on going? What's your advice of a trade? That I don't actually mind too much. Like, if I take profit on a trade and it just keeps shooting off in my direction, that doesn't really piss me off. Mainly because if I've already taken profit and I've made some money, I'm kind of happy. And I've, over years and years, like, I have found that I'm most profitable when I take base hits. Okay. And what I mean by base hits is, for example, I haven't really shown like base hit trading properly, but I will start showing it in the streams. And what I mean by base hits is kind of, if the market gives you, $300, take it. And it works best in choppy conditions, right? Like, this is choppy right now. Base hits work really well. Like, if you're looking for the big extension, right? If you're looking for the big move down, you just have to sit through all this chop. And that really kind of, hurts to sit through. Like, it's tough to do, right? Whereas if you take the base hits, and that's what I did earlier, where I just take the base hits, the market gives me 500, I take it. Wait again, boom, jump in, take it, and just build it up. It works a lot better in the kind of choppy conditions. But of course, sometimes you get that kind of massive sell-off or that trend where, all right, it did extend and it did keep going and you could have trailed it. So you're going to get chopped up when it's choppy if you use, if you try and hold. But then if you take base hits, you're going to have a much better success rate on a choppy market. So it works both ways. And I found, generally speaking, it's more profitable to take base hits than really big trades. At least for me. I always follow my rules and my trading ideas are right, but when the actions start, I just want to close with some profit, but I should let my winners run to cover my lost days externally. Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense what you're saying. And that can absolutely work. Like, if you let your winners run, that can absolutely work. But you want to have like a daily cutoff. That's what I would say. Never allow your losses to get too big. Like, depends on your size account and what account you're trading. But if you have like a daily cutoff, like 1,000 or something, right? And you never kind of, once you lose 1,000, you kind of just close out for the day regardless. Then you should be okay with, you shouldn't be that, it shouldn't be that difficult to make back the loss you made yesterday. Does that make sense? It's only when you really keep over trading on a bad day, because they happen, like whether it's, your own, you're just not mentally on form, whether it's the market is just extremely choppy, like they happen. Like you can, if you overtrade on a bad day, you make a bad day into a terrible day. Like it will happen one day. And then it's really hard to kind of come back from that, because now you got to trade for like 2 weeks solid, or maybe not 2 weeks, but you got to trade for quite a few days solidly and really, be on top form just to get back to how, where you were however long ago, right? So yeah, we'll take partials and leave a small bit to always run a move. Partials, again, like all of this stuff is good. Like there's no right or wrong. I wouldn't say like, oh, don't do this. Don't. All of it is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. It really depends on your personality, right? So for example, here's a true story, okay? When I traded on Ola Prime TV, when we used to live stream, all the other coaches, they called me 1 minute man. All right. And I got the nickname 1 minute man because my average like trade was like a minute or under a minute, because I was proper into just taking base hits constantly. Boom, 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 boom. And the issue was Ola Prime literally said, Sam, like these base hits, like you need to hold your trades longer, because it's so quick. Our copying system doesn't, there's too much of a lag and it's not working out. Like, because you're not holding a trade. You get closing out after like a minute. We're getting slippage. It's actually not working out very well. Like you need to be able to hold it to allow for the latency, right? So I was kind of forced now to, at least on this account, I'm forced to hold it. And you will see in previous live streams on Ola Prime TV, if they're still up. I think they're still up. But if you would ever watch them, like you would see on my cash account, I'd be like, all right, I'm in my cash. And then you'd hear like the little noise of me exiting. And I'm like, I'm out on my cash, but I'm still holding it on the Ola Prime account because of how, like I was instructed, like you have to hold it. But historically, like I've always been super quick scalping, like super, super quick, in and out within like a minute. I would take $200 out, boom, and then jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. But unfortunately, that's causing issues with this account in terms of, Ola Prime trying to copy it. And so fair enough. Like, what can I do, right? How's trading been today? What is the situation with Ola Prime and Project X platform? Will it be the platform be phased out soon? No, we're still keeping Project X, but we are adding other platforms. So DX Futures is coming as well. We're adding more platforms basically, so you have more alternatives than Project X, because we know users want other stuff as well. So, but yeah, Project X will still be available. How has trading been today? I just got here. It looks a lot of chop. Yeah, a lot of chop, but it was okay. Really, there was, this area here, although it looks choppy on the footprint, this was beautiful. Like this whole area on the footprint was lovely. These pullbacks and drops on the footprint were just clear as day to read. Like you would see a really big number at the top from the buy side, and then instantly the sellers will push down below it. Sellers will come in, and then boom, 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 it would just drop. And it was lovely to read. Similar to what you're seeing right now, actually. Very similar to what we're seeing right now. Big buyers kind of couldn't really push it up. We're dropping below them, sell pressure coming in, but it would happen like really nicely and just follow through. So I get the I get the take partials part, but the break even part haunts me because let's say I was 1K in profit with stop loss to break even, and I already took partials of $500 with a non-contract on, and it comes all the way to my break even. It'll feel like I lost 1K. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. There's going to be times where that's going to happen. This is the thing, though. Do you know what I mean? There's no way. There is honestly, there'll be one trade you take and you'll be like, damn it, if only I held it and, you know, this would have worked out really good. Or there'll be another trade where, you know, you take it, you set your stop to break even and it works out perfectly fine. You're like, oh, risk-free trade, great. There'll be another time where it literally takes you out break even, then dumps into your take profit. And you're like, damn it, if I didn't have the break even set, I would have, you know, TP'd. There'll be other times where you didn't set a break even and then it just takes you out on stop loss. And you're like, damn it, I should have had my break. There's always going to be a trade that does the opposite of whatever the system is. But that's not, you can't perfect every single individual trade. There's going to be times that's going to happen. It's going to piss you off. But you just have to stick to one kind of style and one strategy and don't switch it up. If you know it has an edge, just let it play out. Mathematically, over time, it will become profitable. It will have a bad day maybe, or you might even have a bad week if you're like more of a swing trade or whatever, right? There will be times where it just won't work and it will piss you off. But you gotta let it play. You gotta let it ride. Like you just have to don't switch it up. Don't change it. Don't change the recipe. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you know it has an edge, keep going. Like what we just saw here a second ago, right? I mentioned a few minutes ago, exactly like this, you know, buyers come in, we come in with sell pressure. The footprint looks really clear. You know, that would be like my normal sell position, gonna get in for a sell, right? But it happened, you know, here where I did get in and I got stopped out, right? Didn't quite work out in my favor there. I got stopped out, that's fine. But then, you know, obviously I'm not really taking any more trades here now. I'm kind of done. But if I took, you know, if I stuck to my kind of like strategy or like religiously and just did every time I see that setup, just take it. All right, this would be working out quite well right now. Do you see what I mean? And I'd be like, yeah. So you have to allow it to play out, because there's going to be times it's not going to work out in your favor. But if you now all of a sudden switch up your style and you know you have a proven edge, you're not letting that edge play out. So it's just something you have to overcome internally. And I can't tell you the best way to do it. Maybe meditate. I don't know, journal. I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. I haven't got the answer. For me, if I'm brutally honest, the way I kind of learned was through pain. I had the worst loss of my life, well, at the time of my trading career, and it hurt so badly. I'll tell you the story, and this is a true story. This is after I finished working institutionally, and I was just like my own kind of, you know, day trader at home, retail trader, and I was trading, and for like 2 weeks straight, I had probably one of the best trading weeks of my life in terms of not P&L, because since then I've made a lot more. But at the time, just like the win rate, everything was just amazing. It was one of those really good 2 weeks where I felt unstoppable, right? And I let my own ego get to me. I let my own ego get to me. And I made, at the time, it was close to like 40 grand in 2 weeks, right? And this was pounds. So, you know, at the time that was decent. Like in 2 weeks, 40 grand, like that's decent profits, right? For anybody. And I was like, I felt unstoppable. Then on the next trade, like I think the next day or something, you can guess what I did. I for some reason, even though I was taught never to do this, even though I knew I should never do this, I know, like at the time, I knew what I was about to do was stupid, but I let my ego get. I was like, I'm unstoppable. I'm never going to lose. This is such a good trading conditions. It's going to be fine. I essentially full ported because I thought if this works out, this trade, okay, my stop wasn't that bad. I think my stop was like 6K or something. I was like, I can handle a 6K loss. That's okay. But my like potential win, I would have made like got close to like 100K or something of the whole profit, not 100K win, but I would have made like another like 40K or something. Like I full ported my account and I jumped in. And you can guess what happened. It started going against me and it was getting very close to my stop and I couldn't let go. For some reason, something in me I was like, no, it will get better. It will get better. Like maybe my stop's just a bit tight. So I moved it up to 10K. It started going up to 10K. I'll just move it up a bit more. And I kept moving it up. And this trade, I'm telling you, I don't know, the market just fucked me that day. It was like relentless. It wasn't like a fast moving trend. It was kind of, maybe I could show you on a chart, like an area. And I'm sure you guys would have experienced something like this before. You know, when the market just kind of goes in one direction, but it does it slowly, but it never pulls back. You know, it's just like a train. It's like a slow moving train. It's just boom, boom, boom. And it just won't stop. And it kept getting worse. And I was like, no, it has to turn around. Of course, it doesn't have to turn around. I got it wrong. And it kept getting worse and worse. And before you knew it, I wiped out the whole 40K I made in one trade. And after that, I remember looking at myself in the mirror thinking, what the fuck have I done? How did it end so badly? How did I go from such a high to such a low in a space of like an hour? I couldn't believe it. Like the statistical odds in my brain of that happening was so little. That's why I took the trade. That's why I took such a big risk. It really fucked me up. And everything I learned from the institutional days, everything I learned as a trader, I was already many years in as a trader, right? I was already making a living as a trader at this point. This wasn't like, a beginner mistake. But I let my ego get the best of me. And that hurt so much. I couldn't trade for like a month or something. I just physically couldn't trade. I was bruised. I was in so much pain after that experience. But I've never done it again. I've never ever done it again. So sometimes you just have to learn from the pain. Like you have to go through the worst situation that you can imagine. And then, you never forget that moment and you never do it again. So it was an expensive lesson, but ultimately looking back now, it was a very good lesson, a really, really good lesson. So that's my kind of take on it, really. We all done that, bro. It's the tax you pay to mature yourself. Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's a tax. It happens, man. It happens. The thing is, for me, I felt so disappointed because I was already many years, and I think I was already like 8 years into trading. I worked at an institution. I was like statistically profitable, my portfolio and everything. And I still made that mistake. So it can happen even when you think like one thing I learned is there's no such thing as a successful trader. It's actually a lie. Because there's been people who've made millions in the market, but also then lost all those millions. You're only as good as you are the last day. You can be a millionaire from trading and you can lose your millionaire status and go broke if you let your ego get in the way, or if you change, like it can happen. So there's never like that kind of tipping point where one day you just become a successful trader. That's not how it works. It's kind of, you're only as good as you were yesterday, essentially, or your last trade. People work 12 hours for £100, but once you're on the charts, money don't feel real. Exactly, that's true as well. Yeah, people work their arse off for £100, and then the market gives you it, and you stick your nose up at it, and you're like, "No, I want 1,000," and that greed can seriously mess you up. Again, there's so much psychology to it, and it's tough, man. But every trade you take, every year you're in this game, you get a bit better and better. And once in a while, you get slapped up, and you have to experience that pain. There is no trader who hasn't experienced that pain. You know, I've seen stories of people who are like a few months into trading, they've had a lot of like beginner success, beginner luck, and they think, you know, they're unstoppable, but eventually it catches up with them because there's no true way of learning trading other than pain. That's the reality of it. Yep, you got PTSD from it. I genuinely had PTSD. Like I couldn't trade, man. Like, it wasn't even the money. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to risk the money to trade again. It was I don't even know what it was. It was almost like hope was eroded. You know, it broke my soul, and it took a while to recover from that. I don't know. People pay college, some of us pay the market. Absolutely. My first year, I experienced so much pain in trading, I quit for 2 years. Andre, yep, I know that feeling, man. But we always come back, and yeah, every strategy works. It's all about psychology. The true battle's within you. You know, that's the realist thing. Absolutely. I mean, the reality is every strategy has probably some kind of an edge. If you stick to it religiously and you're really, really, you know, disciplined over a long term, most people will be successful trading. It's always psychology that messes people up. Always psychology. Yes, there are strategies that are better than others. 100%. There are ones that are more effective in, you know, certain markets, but at the end of the day, it's a coin flip, right? Heads or tails, buy or sell. One side is going to be right. It's all about how you manage it. All about, you know, your psychology. Shit, I blew 70K my first year after I made money in crypto and thought I was the man. Yeah, I've never actually done crypto, I'll be honest. I've never done crypto. No, tell a lie. I did buy Dogecoin back in like COVID days. My brother-in-law egged me on. He was like, buy some Dogecoin. Yeah, you know, Elon Musk is talking about it. Or this is before Elon even really spoke about it. And he was like, buy Dogecoin. I don't know where he heard it from. And I was like, all right, fine. So I put a few £100s into Dogecoin. And that thing blew up. It actually went up, like my portfolio went up to like 3K at one point. I was like, oh shit, like that's not bad. And then, you know, he convinced me that, oh, this is going to keep going. Like, this is the new Bitcoin. It's going to go to ridiculous numbers. Just hold it. And I was like, all right, fine. I didn't need the money, so I just held it. And it just went to like nothing. I think I cashed out in the end at like £500. I was like, I don't think this is recovering. But yeah, that was my crypto experience. When I hit my first payout in 2024, I did the same thing. I thought I was the man and bought 4 more evaluations just to blow it. This is it. Ego, man. Ego. It kills, but it's an expensive lesson. But once you learn that lesson, things generally get smoother. Were you also trading NQ back then, or was it a news day or something? No, I was trading the ES, and it wasn't a news day. It was just the market was just, it wasn't speed. It didn't go like against me fast. It wasn't like a news candle where it just shoots up or shoots down. It was just like a train. It was just like, I think I was shorting the market and it was going up. I can't fully actually remember, but it was just, you know, bullish candle, but small ones, bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle. And it just wouldn't, like, it was a perfect kind of upward move, upward leg, and it just didn't stop. Nothing would stop it. It was like a freaking train. Slow, but just relentless in that direction. And that killed me. Because if it happened really quick, I think I would have been like, oh, and just quickly exited. But because it was so slow, I kept thinking, this might reverse. And then no, it kept climbed up a bit more. I might reverse, went up a few more points. I might reverse. And that kept giving me, that's why I kept moving the stop loss. And it fucked me up so badly. I hate, still to this day, there's that kind of pain when I think about it, because that hurt, man. More anger at yourself for going against your rules, knowing you can't play. This is it. Like, I broke my own rules, man. I messed up. And I should have known better. Like, If I was a beginner, yeah, I could have said, all right, beginner, you know, I still got a lot to learn. At that point in my career, I should never have made that mistake. It's unacceptable to make that mistake. Really unacceptable. Like that was 100% on me. I was a complete idiot. I don't know what I was doing, but shit happens, man. Question: would it be better to have ES on the left and NQ on the right, watching both? Um, I mean, if you're trading both, but generally speaking, ES and NQ move pretty much the same. Like sometimes they're not. Some days they're not correlated as much, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, they're correlated. So if the NQ goes up, the ES goes up, and vice versa. So there's no point really trading both instruments. Does that make sense? You might as well just like you're not even hedging. Like it's just pick one or the other essentially. Math beats the market. You have to trade like a business. Absolutely. Little bit, day by day, just come in, rinse and repeat, do the same thing. Forget about the big wins. Forget about the big paydays. Just take a bit of money out the market every day and leave it at that. That honestly, long term, and it adds up. Like it really does add up, man. Like my cash account. I started my cash account. When did I start this? I started it with, I think, about $200,000, my cash account, right? Like this with this broker that I'm currently with. And I think the balance today is close to $900,000. And this was probably about 6 years of trading. Obviously, I've withdrawn a lot of money. Like that wasn't, I've never, it's not like I've never withdrawn. Like I'm getting close to the million mark on my cash account. So yes, it's over 6 years, you know, but it really does, like it adds up. Like you're just chipping away. Am I a multi-millionaire? No. Like, you know, could I theoretically go out and buy a Lamborghini? Theoretically, yes, I have the cash to buy it, but I wouldn't. Do you see what I mean? Because I'm just not at that level of wealth yet. Once I have, 10 million in the bank, then yeah, I can buy a Lamborghini in cash. But I don't really want a Lamborghini. I would prefer like a Bentley or something, but it doesn't matter. But you get my point. Do you know what I mean? So there's like levels to it, there's levels to it, and you just got to chip away. You realize there is no speed running it. Maybe in crypto, you buy some meme coin, you make a few million, like I've, stories like that. But like in terms of a career as a business, you just chip away every day. You grow that balance, you compound here and there, you withdraw some money to, pay your bills, live below your means. I've seen so many times people, they have a good trading month, prop accounts, whatever, doesn't matter. And they, get a flashy car on lease, and then the next month they don't really make that much money, or they lose their account, or they lose money. Now they're struggling to pay that car's monthly lease bill or whatever, and now they're emotionally all over the place, and then they lose the car and everything just goes to shit. Now they're in a worse position they ever were. Live below your means 100% every single time. Live below your means. Like, clear debt. If you have any debt, credit card debt, especially short-term debt, clear that shit. The moment you get a payout, the moment you make money on trading, clear that shit. Debt is the worst thing you could ever have. Yeah, it's not nice. If ES had absorption, wouldn't you miss NQ? Honestly, Mo, I don't know what you mean. If ES had absorption, wouldn't you miss NQ? Can you explain what you mean by that? One of the only legit traders out there. Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Honestly, 10K a month would make me happy. But this is it. Like, you start off with 10K a month, and you'll get there eventually. Like 100% you'll get there if you stick to it. And then you start making 10K a month, and then you're looking at, I kind of want 20K, or I want 30K. And it just, you're never satisfied as a trader. That's what I've learned as well. You're never satisfied. You always want more. You always want to keep growing. You always want to get better. And that's just natural. And you just got to remember, don't try and speed run it. The moment I tried to speed run my freaking money, that's when I had big losses. The moment I tried to speed run, always works out badly. Just want a comfy life and travel, go live in Brazil or something that bills are $100. Oh, yeah. That sounds like the life, man. How much monthly do you make total from trading? It really does vary. Like cash account, I can, like on a good month, I can pull in maybe like 70. There are months where, you know, I don't do anywhere near that. It really depends. Like I've noticed more in the middle of the year is more my profitable times. A lot of people say summer is a shit time to trade. I actually like trading summer. Summertime for me is a good time to trade. I don't know why, but it works. I think because the market's more calmer. It's not as erratic. When the market's really volatile, that's where I start struggling. I like a calmer market. Like this market right now is nice and calm. This is a lot easier to trade, right? Because you have a few more seconds to make your decision. It's not like, oh, I think, and then you know, and you're just waiting a second to double confirm the market's already moved. And you're like, shit, I've missed it. And now you do. Do you know what I mean? Like when it's too quick, it's hard to trade. I like a calmer market. And lately, like, because it's the beginning of the month on January, obviously, the market's been very choppy as well. So it's been a bit more trickier to trade. Do you also hold swing positions on your cash account? I don't do swing at all. Like my broker kicks me off at the end of the day. Like if I'm in a trade and by market close, my broker will physically get me out that position and charge me. I think like charge me quite a lot. Like I think it's like $250 per contract or something like that. Charge me to take me out that trade. So yeah, before market close, I am exiting. Regardless, I am out the market. So I never hold overnight. Never in a million years hold overnight. Well, I can't hold overnight. My broker kicks me off. I physically can't. Trading is simple, very easy. If you are only watching NQ and absorption shows on ES, would NQ go down? Or is there always absorption on both at the same time? I just figured you would need ES on the left. I see what you're asking. No, because they are still two separate instruments. Like today, someone pointed out that the NQ and ES look very different, right? So this is the NQ. We had a huge sell-off, and then we've just ranged up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Now, if you look at the ES, the ES looks completely different. This is the sell-off never really happened, right? Where's the market open is here. So we had a tiny bit of a sell-off, but then, you know, we're actually trading higher up on the ES at market open, whereas in NQ, we're like down here. So they do sometimes differ, and they can differ quite a lot. So only because something, you know, you see something on the ES footprint doesn't mean that NQ will do the same. Granted, majority of the time, most likely, yes. But they can differ. So don't, yeah, you got to be careful. Treat each, you know, instrument as its own. So if you're trading the NQ, only look at the NQ footprint. If you're trading the ES, only trade the ES footprint and make a decision based on, you know, that instrument. Because, yeah, you'll get caught out otherwise. But yeah, the footprint is really nice right now. It's really, really nice, the footprint. I mean, you're really seeing kind of, this is a beautiful market to trade, you know. Not so clear here. Actually, not the clearest here, but kind of clear. But this is the exact setup you're kind of looking for. We saw it clear at the top. Let me get rid of all these drawings. I don't know what they're all on the chart for. But this is like the exact kind of 3-step process you're looking for. You're looking for, if you want to go on a short trade, you're looking for buyers, pushing the market up and then starting to fail, like a big clump of buyers who just fail to push the market up, right? And then that's step one. Now, if the market starts going up, it keeps going up, then you're wrong. Phase one, like the first step has been annihilated. So the move isn't in play. But now, if the market goes sideways, it doesn't have to go sideways, but if it goes down or sideways or goes against basically these buyers, right? And sellers come in and they're more effective at pushing the market down. So, you saw sellers come in here, not a huge amount, but half decent. You can say 120 contracts if you put these two clusters together. And they were effective at kind of pushing the market down, right? That's, the second move. I mean, the second kind of, I don't know, criteria. And that's your short, basically. And then your short would be, stop above there. And then take profit could be a million different ways you can figure out the take profit. You can target lows, or you can kind of be fluid and trail, and then that's the move, right? And then once you see the same thing happen, but on the other side, that's when you want to get out. So here you can start seeing sellers start getting a bit inefficient. Lots of sell contracts. So part one was there, right? Big cluster of sellers, but buyers did come in, but the buyers didn't push it up, right? They failed to get above those sellers. So didn't quite work out there. But it did then start working out a bit lower down. So again, a little cluster of sellers come in. Not a huge amount, but still over 100 contracts. And then here, another little cluster. And look how we then traded above them. And then wait for, the heavy buyers to come in. And then boom, they all came in here. That's your entry. It's like a 2 kind of part move, And then again, you target wherever, right? So you'd still like be on this trade, for example, right? But that's essentially, all I'm looking for at any given point. Now, sometimes the market will be really choppy, and it will do it, but it won't do it enough. And it will happen so quick. By the time you click enter, by the time you spot it, the market's already moved up to here, and now your entry is really bad, and your stop is going to be big, and then it's very difficult to catch, right? So, but when the market's calm and the footprint is nice and clear, that's the best time to trade. Trading them together is good for sweeps. When one sweeps high or lows, expect the other to as well. Yeah, good point. Very good point there. Hey, bud, can you check gold footprint to see how the buyers are looking at current price? Absolutely, I can. The gold footprint ain't that great normally, but let me look at a bit of longer term, a 15-minute. Actually, let me just quickly analyze the levels on gold. So let me go back to the candles. See an overall structure. I haven't traded gold in donkey years, so I just want to see where all distribution of volume. So the point of control is up here. We've got the first gap down here. Let me see if there's any gaps here. There's a gap right there. That little gap in volume. Right, so we rejected off that gap in volume. That caused the retracement down. Where is the gaps? I'm just looking for any nodes that are trapped between heavier nodes. So there's one there, which we rejected off just now. Well, not just now, but like yesterday or something. There's another one at the bottom here, but we haven't got there. And now we're just kind of trapped between these two areas. Okay, so the next real move for gold, it's hard. I mean, naturally, I would look to short when we get back into that gapped area here, potentially short down longer term. Or if we break through that area and come back into it, I'll look to long, but only up to here then. Gold is not going to make all-time highs until we break higher than, 4,522, around that kind of area. If we can break above there and kind of see this happen, then all-time highs will be achieved again, which will happen because gold, I'm telling you, like, if you've been keeping up with the fundamentals of gold, especially silver as well, you know that it's going to keep going. Like it's going to keep going. So I would naturally be more inclined to buy gold as a whole in the longer term. So that would be my kind of longer term bias. As of now, we're kind of just in the middle of nowhere, really. We're near the point of control. There's a good chance, we're going to spend a bit of time just kind of bouncing around the point of control, maybe peak up a little bit and then potentially push down. But there's nothing I would do on a cash trade here. Like, we're just kind of nowhere at the moment. In terms of the footprint, I'm assuming we probably won't see much as well because we're just sort of doing nothing. If I just, we are auto good. Yeah, there's on the 1 minute, I see fuck all on the 1 minute, I'll be honest. Maybe on the 15-minute, I want to see how it reacted in these gaps here. So we had that gap at the top. Yeah, just the volume numbers aren't that big, but it looks like anything over 100 is considered very big on gold. So we had it here on the longer term when we got into that gap. The buyers failed, sellers came in. You can see them all drop off, and then boom, the move happened. And then we eventually broke through this gap area. We came back on the other side, tested it. Buyers again, 91, trapped at the top. Sellers defended it. This is actually a perfect kind of like, this matches everything. We broke through the gap, came back, tested into the gap alongside a big chunk of, a massive order block from the sellers. And then the moment that was tapped in, boom, freaking crashed. But they happen, like, these are trades that take a while. Like, they don't happen every minute. These are longer term kind of 15-minute chart trades. Intraday, you're going to wait for them. Jesus, what happened here? This must have been news or something, right? Wednesday, 3 o'clock. Okay, I think that was yesterday. I didn't trade yesterday, so I can't remember. There was definitely something yesterday news-wise. It was like unemployment claims or something. I can't remember what it was, but there was definitely something yesterday, I think. But as of right now, let me go to where we are now. Yeah, I'd be more inclined to sell just because you can kind of see the distribution of volume. All the buyers, like, it's all green. You've got a bit heavier buyers, especially at the top here, potentially all trapped. And then now we're trading below them. Huge sellers haven't really come in, a few, 89. But again, buyers trapped at the top of this wick, but they're still buying into it. But I would be more inclined to sell, but I feel like the move was a bit late. Like, we've already kind of missed. Your perfect entry would be a bit higher up, like here. But it depends how, as long as you keep your risk low, if you wanted to enter now and have like a higher stop, that's not terrible. But for me as a scalper, I'd be a bit more, what am I doing? Because it would have to be quite a bit bigger stop, sorry. And then potentially to target, you'd have to target a lot lower down. Yeah, I'd be more on the sell side with gold for now. Like, short, medium term, be more on the sell side. But I'm also very aware, very, very aware what could happen, and quite likely as well, because we're at the point of control. We could reject the point of control again, shoot up back into this gap, and then the move down might happen. So I wouldn't really want to enter when we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. If you're scalping, that's fine. But more for like intraday, the real move, I would wait for, an entry up here. That would be more ideal. because this point of control can definitely support price here. And we're just kind of, you're just going to be hovering at your entry for ages and never really make the move. What else? China yesterday announced that it was halting their orders on NVIDIA chips. This most likely caused a divergence from NQ and ES today, since NQ is mainly tech companies. Yeah, that would definitely do it. That would definitely do it. Is that the volume profile you're using? Yes, the volume profile. How did tell if there is a gap in the volume profile? Simple. So when you draw out the volume profile, all you're looking for, right? Let me make this full screen just so you can see it a bit better. So you want to draw out a leg, right? So we draw this down leg. Let me actually just remove these drawings and redo it. So from the top all the way to the bottom, you draw it out, and all you're looking for is on the nodes. Like, this is a small gap, but it's already been a little bit filled. But you see how this node, right, is bigger than this node. So this one is smaller. And then below the smaller node, you've got a bigger one again, right? So big, small, big. That's the kind of all you're looking for. This is a little trapped. I mean, it's already been somewhat filled. It's only a little bit smaller. So it's not a huge, like, it's not a really obvious clean gap. But to a certain degree, it's not terrible, right? And you do that with any leg, right? So when you have like this leg up, if you want to know where potentially price could bounce off from, right, to go up, and the further down you go, the better these, you know, you're looking for like the best one. So like a really good one is down here, right? If price ever gets there, that would be definitely something I'll be looking to buy into, right? Buy from there. But you know, we have a few. There's another one here. There's quite a few on this leg. So let me just draw them all out. There's one right at the top here, but naturally, it's not going to be as effective. So those are all the gaps so far drawn out. So it only matters for this move down, right? You're potentially looking, all you're looking for is either to, when it gets to a gap, two things will happen. Either price will reject and continue, right? Or price will blow through the gap, come back to the other side and continue down. Those are the two ways it can work. So in this case, we didn't really reject, you know, it kind of stopped there. Eventually it blew right through, it came back on the other side and then continued down straight to the next gap. And on this gap, it decided to push up, but then reject off this gap. So obviously, you know, that trade would have worked out. And then this gap, it rejected to the downside. But then here, it kind of blew right through, came back on the other side and continued down to this gap, right? And then this gap is the one where it really kind of, you know, rejected off and pushed up higher, up into this gap again where it's pushed. So you're just bouncing off these levels, essentially. It's like ping pong. And it's either going to do one or the other, right? It's either going to blow right through, come back on the other side, retest it and continue, or it's going to reject off it. So when you get to these kind of bigger long-term gaps from like the 15-minute chart, I then jump into the footprint, and that's my cash account trades. Like, I look for the bigger long-term gaps. Once we get there, I go into the footprint and I look for essentially buyers or sellers trapped, and do it through there, and use the footprint for the entry, right? That's essentially it. That's all you're doing, you know. And you can do this, you know, we've just been pushing up like crazy, but this huge sell-off, right? If you look at where this kind of push up and this trend started, we had consolidation here, right? And then it started here, right? So this was the start of the kind of move up. So if we drew it from here all the way to where it stopped and just draw out any gaps that you see. So if I just, one second, shit. There it is. There's a gap right here. There's only two of them in this whole move up. There's only two obvious gaps, right? There's one there and there's one right at the bottom. Oh no, there's one here, a smaller one. It's not great, but it's a smaller one. There is technically one there, and there's one below it here. This one is the nicest one, I would say, the one right at the bottom. So when we had this massive sell-off, look what happened, right? So on this gap, it just blew right through and rejected off the gap, that one there. I actually never got to, oh no, it did. It did. Let me just remove all these volume profiles so you can see it a bit better. Ah, clear as day. Because I've drawn so much crap on the chart now, so I don't want to confuse people too much. So let me just get rid of all this because this is a different leg. So all we've done is drawn the volume profile from where the move started to where it ended, right? From here to here. And as we start pushing down, retracing, there are 3 gaps we have identified. Gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, right? The first gap, it just blows right through. No rejection, right? Blows right through. It rejects off the second gap and now goes back on the other side of the first gap, which that gap it then rejects down. Then it blows, then it blows right through the second gap to the third gap, the last gap at the end, and then finally makes its move up. And yeah, it kind of bounces off again here, comes back to this gap, and then eventually, once it blows right through this gap again, remember, if it blows through, it comes back on the other side and continues, right? And that's what happens. And then the move happened. And that's essentially it. And then obviously we've measured the volume profile from this leg down to find all the gaps it could reject off as it moves up. And that's essentially all you're doing. Those are how I mark my key levels out. And then I use the footprint when we get to those key levels to make actual entry decisions, right? I hope that was useful. Fuck me, we're at 2 hours. I think I'm going to pretty much end the stream. 2 hours. It's I'm getting quite tired. I need to eat something. But I hope that kind of, explained it. Can you show volume profile how to use it? I'm kind of struggling with that. If you don't mind, please. You mentioned gap. So I did just explain the gap for you there. I think that was an older thing. What's your settings for? The settings is just for the volume profile. I have 24, the row size. This doesn't really matter. I don't care about the up down volume. You can do total. Doesn't really matter. Delta, not though. Definitely not delta. Total or up down doesn't make a difference. Value area, I just did 100 because I want to see the full thing. Number of rows, and then I have it as 24. All right. Obviously, this live stream will be, you can watch it again. So just make note if you want that explanation again. Just make note, of the timestamp, and then you can rewatch it. Again, so basically, just imagine high volume on the nodes, higher volume, lower volume, higher volume. It's 3 nodes, right? Can you see, like this one, you see it clear as day, right? Here's a high volume node. Here's a low volume node. Here's a high volume node. It's the low volume node trapped between 2 heavier volume nodes, right? That's what I call a gap, right? And that's essentially the reason it gets created is because price moves through that area really fast. So you can see where price actually moved here, right? The area where this low volume node is, price just kind of really shot through it. Boom, 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 boom. It didn't spend much time in that area, right? And if price gaps through those kind of areas, it's when it comes back, it usually, there's a good rejection, basically. High volume just means essentially that, like on the volume profile, it's essentially just the market spent a lot of time there. That's the way you got to look at the volume profile. Less so much about volume in terms of contracts traded, but more about time. Like, just for example, if I do a volume profile from here to here, I guarantee you This area here will have the highest volume. This will be the point of control, the biggest volume. Boom. And why is this the biggest point of control? It's not because necessarily, well, the most volume was traded in that area, but the only reason the most volume was traded in that area is because it spent the most time in that area, right? Like we were, it just moved sideways in that area. So naturally, a lot of volume accumulated in that area. It's not like someone placed a massive order in that area and that's why it's a high volume node. It's literally time-based, right? And the low volume nodes essentially mean, right, if you think about what a low volume node is, it just means price hasn't spent much time here. But the reason I look for heavier volume on either side is it tells me there's a good chance price did something like blew right through that area, kind of came back and continued. We kind of had, price spent more time here than here, right? If that makes sense. So in the low volume node, price didn't spend much time. It just kind of flew right through and it spent a little bit more time here, but continued going. And you can literally see that you don't even need a volume profile technically for it, but it just makes it easier to see, right? You can see it here, time, like price shot up really quickly, kind of stopped for a bit, shot up. So here's going to have heavier volume. Here's going to be like very low volume. And here, this area is going to have, again, heavier volume, producing that kind of pattern. So I just look for that pattern on the volume profile to basically point out where price went really quick through somewhere and continued. That's all I'm doing, right? And I just call it a gap because it is essentially a gap, right? It just gapped through. If price already, let me just quickly, how did you draw the second gap? It's high volume on the profile. The second gap that I drew, I can't remember which. I think I drew it like from here to here. Let me just. This was, I think this was the second gap. Again, you're just looking for a low volume node trapped between. That's essentially it. That's all you're looking for. It's the same as fair value gaps. If they respect buy, if they disrespect sell, mix it with your bias and all. Yeah, exactly the same. Instead of though looking, at the candles and trying to figure out where that is, I find it a lot easier. Just draw the volume profile and I can see where it is. Do you know what I mean? It makes it just quicker to analyze rather than looking at the wick and being like, spent time there. But most other traders would be able to identify that's probably somewhere a fair value gap, or they'll come to the same conclusion as well. I just use the volume profile because I find it easier. That's essentially it. If price has already visited a gap, is it invalid? Not necessarily invalid, because it can keep bouncing. There's no really rigid rules. Like from my experience, there's no kind of correlation where if price has touched it once, it's invalid and never touches it again or anything like that. It can revisit it as many times it wants and keep bouncing off it 10 times. We can do it once. There's kind of no rule. That's why I like to incorporate the footprint when we get there to kind of have a better understanding of what is going on in that moment. Are buyers trapped? Are sellers trapped? Who's kind of controlling the market? Who's efficient for my entry? So whenever we get to a gap, I am looking, even if it's been touched before, I'm looking at the footprint to potentially enter a trade. You're an awesome teacher. Do you offer mentorship? Please don't mind paying you. Just need to master it for gold intraday and scalping. Ryan, I don't unfortunately offer mentorship or have a course or anything like that. All my teachings is free on YouTube. But feel free, look, follow me on Instagram, drop me a message. I reply to everyone. I have Instagram. It's in the description. Sam Trader FX is the handle, but there's the link in the description as well. Follow me, and if I have some time and schedules align, I can give you I can hop on and walk you through a few things one-on-one. That's not a problem. Free of charge. I wouldn't even. I'm not here to make money. Should appreciate it and enjoy your stream. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's how someone makes money trading no pay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I was, a few people have asked, "Do you have a course?" The thing is, like, I'll be honest. Could I make a course? Yeah, but I think the time and effort spent on making a course for the returns I would get, I don't think it's not worth it. It really is not worth it. I would have to like sell, tens of thousands of units to make it worthwhile. It's not worth it. Like I'm only doing YouTube live stream, and truth be told, the only reason I'm doing it is because of Ola Prime. Ola Prime literally have asked, like we did live streaming with Ola Prime TV. They've asked me to do it on my own channel to help drum up business for Ola Prime because I work for them. So that's why I'm doing these streams. But yeah, like it's not monetized either. Like I don't get any ad revenue, anything like that. Maybe one day I think I will if it grows enough, but again, I don't think that's gonna really be much. Like I'm not expecting Mr. Beast money or something. Do you have a Discord? I kind of do have a Discord. So Omar, if you go to my Discord's within Ola Prime's server. So if you go to olaprime.com, join their Discord. I have within the Ola Prime Discord the little channel with my name. We just set it up today, so I'm going to be interacting with everyone Discord wise through that little channel or whatever it's called. All right. Nobody on YouTube will even read the comments, let alone teach online. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, there's a lot of people obviously who make money teaching it, which is fine. Like I understand if you want a second stream of income, that like fair play. I'm not going to knock it, but I just don't think it's going to be really worth. Like I don't think it will make profitable sense. Do you know what I mean? Like a business sense to spend months working on a course. Because if I'm going to make a course, I'll make it proper, like a really good course. I'm not going to just make like cheap videos. Like I'm going to really in depth, really break it down, proper course. And that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I just don't think it's worth the money. Do you know what I mean? Like now, if a million people asked me, wanted to buy a course, and yeah, I would do it. And then I would make millions, right? That would make sense. But I just don't think it's worth it. Adam, no worries. Well, I'm on every trading day at New York Open. The link is olaprime.com. Let me find it for you. So Ola Prime, we're a prop firm. Full disclosure, I do obviously work for them. I'm employed by them. Yeah, so olaprime.com. If you go to scroll down to the bottom, there'll be a Discord. That's it. Join our community on Discord, join the Discord, and then within that, I will, there's my little Discord channel, and you can chat to me and do all that. So where is it? So hopefully you got that on Discord. TM Clouds, guys, just watch the live stream when he's online. You need so much time to learn to trade. Even if you get mentorship, it will still no guarantee. Yeah, exactly. Just watch it bit by bit. You'll start, catching on. I try and break it down as well as I can with the footprint and everything. But yeah, it just takes time. And then, you got to see the reality of trading as well. There's not always going to be big profits. You'll see me get stopped out all the time. I get stopped out all the time. Like constantly getting stopped out. I like to be in the market a lot, but it's not a bad thing. Like getting stopped out is part of the game. Just become to it. It's only money. It doesn't matter. But as long as you keep doing what you do and you don't change the recipe, it pays off over enough trades placed, if that makes sense. So, but guys, I'll leave it there. It's been a long ass stream, but thank you all for joining. I'm back again tomorrow, New York Open. Okay, so 9:30 Eastern time. I'll be back again tomorrow. NFP day. So it's going to be a mental one, let's be honest. So that's going to be fun. Maybe I'll full port on NFP. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. But have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.